go. Yo, YouTube, what's going on, man? It's my first video doing actual AC condenser and furnace work. This is episode 1. We're doing an install for you guys today, so let's go ahead and get it started. We're gonna start my day off by getting that ladder up to the roof and go ahead and get the tools that I'm gonna be using. Get my gauges, get the recovery pump, get the recovery tank. We're gonna go ahead and head to the roof and get this thing started. So I like to, prep myself and get everything set up on the roof so I can get real comfortable, get everything spread it out and not too close, because you don't want to be too cluttered. We already bending down, squatting on our knees. It gets frustrating. So you want to have as much space as possible that you can work with. And also, if you're afraid of heights like I am, coming up the ladder with that tank, we definitely put a little fear in your body, but you'll get over it. But yeah, so get all your stuff up there. If you got some help, that's actually better. But if you don't, you just got to thug it out. As HVAC guys, we got to thug it out. So we got my recovery pump up here. Get it set up closer to the machine. And like I said, you want to set your area up all nice, because it will get messy quick, as you're going to see in this video. I had to set the camera down because I was getting a little hot. The head harness, it gets kind of sweaty. We're going to hook up my hose to the recovery tank and get my gauges out, and then we're going to hook this hose up to the outlet, not the inlet, the outlet. This is the extra hose that we hooks up to the recovery tank and that hooks up to the recovery pump. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get my suction line and hook my suction up. Then we get my liquid line, hook my liquid line up. And then I didn't get it on camera, but your third hose on your gauge actually goes to the inlet valve. It goes to the inlet valve on the recovery pump. After you get that done, you want to go ahead and open up your valve on your recovery tank, open up your gauges, and you want to kick that pump on. And then you just let it do what it do. Right now it's going to be recovering that old refrigerant, which is, I do believe it was R22 in this case. So we're recovering old refrigerant. And while that's doing that, we're going to go ahead and and get the new unit, get that closely, unpackage that thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie to y'all. Let me take a little step back. This HVAC journey has been pretty decent. I started off at a different job, and basically I was trapped doing ice machines. And I got a couple videos on my channel with me doing the ice machines. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was HVAC related, but it's real repetitive. And with this job, one day you might be waking up doing the install, next day you might be figuring out why somebody's not getting cold air. And then in the wintertime you're dealing with boilers. So you pretty much get the full range of the job, and you get the real nicks and crevices of the job in the HVAC, and you're able to learn and jog your memory and actually be out there and helping people rather than to just cleaning ice machines. But back to the video. I was talking too much, but I opened up the panel and pretty much disconnected the 20-volt, and then I actually disconnected the high voltage as well. And since we trading out this disconnect box, I went on and disconnected those wires to the high voltage coming in too. So right now, we're gonna get these wires up off here because we're gonna actually reuse these wires. We're gonna connect them to the new unit. So right now you see me pulling those wires through. Had a little struggle, so just took off the caps. Taking off the caps make everything easy. So since everything is unwired, we're gonna look at our gauges, see where we at. Boom. Full recovery. Since we made a full recovery, we're gonna go ahead and close our gauges. Make sure you close your gauges. Make sure you close your gauges. I close my gauges first because now that is no refrigerant in the unit actually, so I'm gonna disconnect from the unit. And now any refrigerant that's in the hoses is going to go straight to that tank. While that's doing that, I'm gonna disconnect my lines. So you're gonna disconnect your suction and your liquid from the machine, and always, no matter what line it's on, if it's on the suction or if it's on the liquid, make sure you cut behind the filter dryer. Make sure you always cut behind it. You will make a mistake if you cut in front of it because you're just gonna have to cut again. We'll let you get this unit out the way. Make some room for the new unit. Get this new unit over. And these units not heavy either. So if you see somebody trying to manhandle and do too much with it, they just probably trying to show off, but they're not heavy at all. So I got my stuff staged. So go ahead and take off the new dryer. Yeah, ream out your lines. Make sure you ream out your lines, and you sand them down too on the outside because it makes brazing a lot easier. So I'm gonna get my bending kit, because if you see the suction line is off at like an angle. So first I'm gonna straighten out the suction line, and then I'm going to actually make my 90. And don't talk about my 90. It'll get better, trust me. And them things is really hard to like take off, so make sure you put a little oomph in it. So I got everything staged, and now I'm ready to braze. So here you go. And make sure you take out the shredders. Make sure you take out the shredders before you start brazing close to those fittings, because you will melt the shredder. As you can see, I got the flame pointing away from the shredder. Make sure you point your flame away from it, because you will mess that shredder up. And then also, like I say, point away from the dryer too as well, the tips, because you will start burning it and it will malfunction. So be aware of that too. So always do your pass through. Don't never stop and look at something else. Do everything in one swipe. Then you look and see what you did. If you got everything right, keep going. But if you made a mistake somewhere, you see a hole, then you go over that hole. But always do one through. And then now I hook up the vacuum pump. Make sure you do a vacuum pump whenever you put a new system in. Whenever you pretty much do anything, pull a vacuum. It takes all the moisture, all the air out of the system, because that can destroy that compressor. So right now I'm prepping, taking out my new whip. I just reconnected the new 24. So that's what you see me doing right there. Those caps on there, and make sure you pull once you put them in the caps, because if you don't pull and they're loose and something happens and then it starts getting loose, then that connection loses, and then that's another callback. So right now you see me connecting my whip to the disconnect box. So that's what I'm doing right now. Getting all my wires cut, strip my wires, put them in the section. Now in the box, you have a line and you have a load. Two of them in the middle that say line, and on the outside says load. So the main line that's coming from downstairs, that's what you put on line, and then the whip is the load. Right now you look at me looking all confused. I'll have like 30 moments of those where I'm just standing there looking like, what's going on? But there you see me connecting the high voltage. And right now you'll see me skip past a few steps, which is the pressure test and the things of that sort. And that's because I lost some footage. But this is just a little minor bump. This is episode 1, so in the future I'm gonna have, better prep for this, better cameras, everything. I'm gonna invest in the Meta glasses. But yeah, I think everybody should, on another note, I think everybody should do something, like as far as like with your hands or something like that, or with your brain and hands, because those type of jobs are gonna always be needed. Most of these jobs are getting taken over by robots and stuff, so people got to take advantage of real skilled trades like HVAC, carpentry, electrician, stuff like that. So yeah, times is changing. Damn, you got to get my little Facebook time. But yeah, there was a leak in the system on both of our ends. So that's what you see us doing right here. But we got it all patched up, did a pressure test, and the air was breathing cold. So unfortunately, this is the end of the video. But if you made it this far, please leave a comment, a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be coming back with some more content. All right, I'm out, y'all.